Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tearing into a topic that's, well, it's secretly running the show in pretty much every single moment of our lives, often without us even noticing it, our emotions.
That is huge.
Seriously, just try for a second to imagine a life completely devoid of them. Our sources actually describe it as boring, monotonous, and mechanical.
It really is true. Emotions aren't just, background noise. They give life its color, its purpose.
Right.
Think about it. Without them, life just loses its zest, doesn't it? Its meaning. So our mission with this deep dive is really to help you, our listener, cut through all the jargon and truly understand emotions.
What they are, how different theories try to explain them.
Their profound physical impact, yeah. And maybe most importantly, how to navigate your own emotional world, especially when things get tough, like, say, with anger.
Exactly. That's why this deep dive is really for you. Whether you're prepping for a big meeting, maybe trying to get up to speed on a fascinating field, or you just have that insatiable curiosity about what makes us tick, we've basically distilled the key insights from our sources.
And we'll unpack some genuinely surprising historical ideas about why we feel things. There's this fascinating wheel of emotions we'll get into.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
And we'll explore how our bodies react, often completely automatically. And all of this leads towards some really practical stuff, like strategies to manage stress and even that really intense emotion, anger.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Where do we start? Maybe with the basics. What is an emotion?
Good starting point. So our sources define emotion as basically a combination of bodily arousal, expressive behavior, thoughts, and feelings.
So it's not just one thing. It's like this complex interplay.
Exactly. It's this intricate dance between what's happening inside us physiologically, how we show it on the outside, and crucially, what we think about it all.
And this dance, it's so fundamental that, like our sources say, we cannot imagine human life without emotions. They make life colorful, purposeful, and meaningful. It's how we experience everything, really.
Totally. You see it constantly. Think about Mira topping her college class. That feeling is pure happiness.
Yeah.
Just this burst of joy.
Or the flip side, like Rahul, whose mother passed away right before he turned 18, that's profound sadness, a really deep, heavy feeling.
And then you've got situations like Suchita, feeling that wave of shame because someone ridiculed her clothes, or Yash fading with his parents about a party that's anger boiling up.
These aren't just fleeting moments, are they? They actually shape us.
Absolutely. That's why that quote from Dr. T.P. Chia hit so hard. Our emotions influence and shape our desires, thoughts, and behaviors, and above all, our destiny. It's powerful stuff.
Wow. Destiny, even.
Yeah. I mean, think about this scenario. You're walking alone at night, quiet street, and suddenly you see some figures lurking in a corner.
Okay. Yeah. Instant alert.
Right. Your senses sharpen, your brain flags potential danger, you become hypervigilant. 1,000 thoughts might flash through your mind. Are they dangerous? What should I do?
You might feel your feet go cold, maybe tense up.
Exactly. Preparing to run, maybe.
Yeah.
That whole package, the vigilance, the racing thoughts, the physical feelings like cold feet, the readiness to bolt that is fear, and emotion triggering this complete body-mind response.
So how did we even figure this stuff out? I mean, the history of understanding emotions must be pretty interesting.
Oh, it is. For centuries, people have tried to untangle this really complex knot. Emotions, thoughts, behavior. Which comes first? It wasn't always clear.
So what were some of the early ideas?
Well, one of the first big attempts was the James-Lange theory. William James and Carl Lange came up with this really counterintuitive idea.
Okay.
They believed we experience emotions because of our physiological arousal.
Wait, so the physical reaction comes first?
That's what they argued. Their famous example is, we don't cry because we feel sad, but we feel sad because we cry. The act of crying itself triggers the feeling of sadness.
Huh. That feels backwards, doesn't it?
It does. And, well, not everyone bought it. Walter Cannon and Philip Bard came along with their Cannon-Bard theory, and they really challenged James and Lange.
How so?
They argued that just having a physical reaction isn't enough to explain the specific emotion. Their killer point was, we don't cry only when we are sad, but we also cry when we are pleasantly surprised or extremely happy.
Right. Same physical thing, crying, but totally different feelings.
Exactly. So for Cannon and Bard, the physical changes in the emotional experience happen simultaneously, yet separately. Your brain gets the input, sends signals to your body via the sympathetic nervous system, and at the very same time, interprets that input as, say, joy or sadness.
Okay, that makes a bit more sense. Body and mind working in parallel.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
And then trying to kind of synthesize these ideas, you get Schachter and Singer's two-factor theory. This is where thinking really takes center stage.
So adding another layer.
Pretty much, they propose that our physiological arousal will interact with our thinking process, and after that, we will experience emotions. So you get aroused physically, then your brain assesses the situation, your thoughts, perceptions, interpretations, and that combination tells you what emotion you're feeling.
So body alert plus mind interpretation equal.
That's the gist of it, yeah. It emphasizes how crucial our thoughts are in labeling the emotion.
And I guess modern science has built on this even more, with brain areas like the amygdala.
Definitely. Newer psychology acknowledges specific brain regions, like the amygdala, being heavily involved. And we now know the brain processes emotions differently depending on how complex they are. It's not always the same pathway.
And there was another one you mentioned, the facial feedback thing.
Oh, right, the facial feedback hypothesis. This is fascinating. It suggests that facial expressions are not only the result of our emotions, but are also capable of influencing our emotions.
So fake it till you make it? Kinda.
A little bit. The theory basically says that smiling more frequently over a period of time can, in fact, make you happier. Just the physical act of smiling can send signals back to your brain that subtly shift your mood. It's a feedback loop.
Wild. Okay, so moving on from the theories. When we think about emotions, life isn't just about chasing success or popularity, is it? Our sources say it's about being real, being genuine, and true to who you are.
I love that. And being real means understanding that huge part of ourselves, our emotional range. It can feel messy, but researchers like Paul Ekman help map it out by identifying some basic core emotions.
Right, the foundational 6.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ekman proposed 6 basic types that seem pretty universal. First, happiness, pure positivity, like Rhea getting that surprise party from her friends. It's linked to satisfaction, joy, and importantly, better well-being, health, even living longer.
Then the opposite, maybe? Sadness.
Yep. Characterized by disappointment, grief, hopelessness. Like Rohan after his breakup, it's totally normal, a natural response to loss or pain. But, and this is important, if it goes on too long, it can become depression.
Okay. What's next? Anger.
Anger, a really powerful one. Hostility, agitation, frustration. Remember Samir arguing about the picnic spot? Anger shows up in faces, body language, tone, sometimes aggression. Our sources call it a two-sided sword.
How so? Not always bad?
Not always. It can be destructive, sure, but sometimes anger is what motivates us to fix injustice or stand up for ourselves. It can be a catalyst for change.
Makes sense. Then there's fear.
Right. Powerful, deeply evolutionary. Think of Sumi, afraid to tell her parents she failed an exam. Is our survival instinct, the fight or flight response kicking in when we perceive a threat. Absolutely essential historically.
Okay, 2 more. Surprise.
Yeah, surprise. That jolt when something unexpected happens can be good, like Ashmi bumping into an old friend after years.
Or bad, like a pop quiz.
Exactly, or just neutral. Interestingly, surprise can also trigger adrenaline, getting you ready for fight or flight, just in case.
And the last one, disgust.
Disgust. Evolutionarily, it probably started as a reaction to bad food protecting us from poison.
Makes sense. Don't eat the moldy thing.
Right. But we also feel moral disgust. Like Amy reading about a terrible crime. It's a reaction to things we find deeply wrong or offensive.
So those are the basic building blocks, but real life feels more complicated, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Human emotions are rarely just one simple thing. We often feel complex blends. And beyond those 6, there are higher cognitive emotions. Things like love, guilt, shame, embarrassment, pride, envy, jealousy. They're universal too, but how we express them can vary a lot across cultures.
And this is where that wheel comes in, Plutchik's wheel.
Exactly. Robert Plutchik developed this amazing model. He also thought emotions evolved for survival. He listed 8 basic ones: joy, trust, fear, surprise, sadness, anticipation, anger, and disgust. And he paired them up as opposites.
Joy versus sadness, fear versus anger.
Right. The wheel is brilliant because it shows relationships. Intensity decreases as you go outwards from the center. The colors also show intensity. Darker means stronger.
So like annoyance is on the outer edge of anger, but rage is right in the middle.
Precisely. Annoyance might escalate to anger and then maybe full-blown rage at the highest intensity. And the really cool part is how combinations create more complex feelings. Like the sources mention, joy and trust combine to be love.
So why is this wheel useful for, us, for the listener?
It's huge for building emotional literacy. It's not just about putting a name to a feeling, but understanding how emotions relate to each other, how they change, how intense they are. It's a call to, as the sources say, Keep a watch on our emotions, name them appropriately, and address them in a healthy way.
Because if we don't.
Well, the warning is that unaddressed emotions can pile up and potentially lead to psychological problems down the road. It's about proactive awareness.
Okay, let's shift focus a bit to the body. The word emotion itself, you said, comes from Latin imere, to stir up or move.
Exactly. And our bodies definitely get stirred up. As David G. put it, human emotion involves physiological arousal, expressive behavior, and a conscious experience. It's that dynamic interaction.
And the physical changes are automatic, right?
Yeah.
Like an alarm system.
Totally automatic. Let's use that classic snake example again. You see a snake. Cognitively, your brain screams, danger.
And then everything happens at once.
Pretty much, physiologically.
Mm-hmm.
Pupils dilate, heart pounds, pulse races. Maybe you sweat, maybe you scream or cry out without even deciding to. Emotionally, you feel fear.
And behind the scenes, the nervous system is going crazy.
Absolutely. Your autonomic nervous system, the automatic pilot part, goes on high alert. It activates your glandular system, gets the adrenal glands pumping out cortisol, that stress hormone. It's the full fight or flight response.
Yeah.
And that leads to the contravention, the behavior running, yelling for help.
What kinds of internal changes are we talking about? The stuff we don't necessarily see.
Well, internally, you've got increases in heart rate, blood pressure, body temperature, pulse, breathing rate. Your chest might feel tight or expand, but other things decrease like saliva production, hence the dry mouth. Your digestion might slow down too, as blood flow diverts to muscles.
And the external signs, the giveaways.
Oh, those are often obvious. Changes in voice volume, pitch, facial expressions, body language, maybe stiffness, sweating, wrinkles around the eyes or mouth, how you hold your jaw, maybe flushed skin, those dilated pupils we mentioned, even goosebumps, hair standing on end, changes in skin temperature. Our bodies are constantly broadcasting our emotional state.
It sounds very stress-focused. What about positive emotions like joy?
Great point. The physiology of joy is beautiful. When you're genuinely happy, your brain releases feel-good chemicals like dopamine and serotonin. Low serotonin, remember, is linked to depression.
So joy feels good chemically.
Yes. And physically, you get genuine smiles, maybe a flushed face, a racing heart, but in a good way, that fluttery stomach feeling. It elevates your mood and actually reduces stress.
So knowing all this, knowing how our bodies react automatically, it should make us more conscious, right, about how we handle our emotions.
Absolutely. The goal isn't to stop feeling, but to become more aware of these processes and how we express and manage emotions healthily. Practices like gratitude, mindfulness, just being present, kindness, empathy, forgiveness. These are really effective ways to balance things out and manage stress.
Which leads perfectly into emotional well-being. It's not just about avoiding bad feelings.
No, definitely not. Think about Anjali, the student prepping for exams. She studied hard, but her anxiety took over. Couldn't concentrate, felt guilty, got physically sick, and then performed poorly. Her emotional state wrecked her physical health and her performance.
That's a tough story, but a powerful illustration.
It really is. Emotional well-being isn't as visible as, say, a broken leg, but it's crucial. It's about how you rationally handle the situation in a calm and healthy manner, basically managing the ups and downs to live a healthy, productive life.
And it feels more important than ever now, with all the pressures, peers, exams, family.
For sure. Negative emotions are unavoidable. Life throws curveballs.
Yeah.
Emotional well-being gives you the resilience, the tools to handle them without getting completely derailed.
So how do we cultivate it? What are the techniques?
Our sources suggest a holistic approach.
Yeah.
Physical, emotional, social. Physically, it's the simple but powerful stuff. Regular exercise, great for endorphins, breaks negative thought loops, and, eating well. A balanced diet matters.
Okay. Then emotionally?
Emotionally, it's about active stress management, finding motivation, doing things you find meaningful, connecting with optimistic people. And mindfulness is key here, staying present, not getting stuck ruminating on the past or worrying endlessly about the future.
Right. Stop the mental replay button. And socially?
Socially, it's about building those meaningful connections. Real relationships provide vital emotional support. They boost your morale. And things like volunteering, helping others, that builds self-esteem, confidence, reduces depression, and fosters gratitude. It feels good to do good.
And the payoff for all this effort, what are the benefits?
The benefits are huge. Better stress coping, using healthy methods, better self-regulation, so anxiety or anger don't just take over. Being able to actually name your feelings and accept the negative ones as part of life.
Sounds like it would boost productivity too, clearer thinking.
Definitely. Increased productivity, more creativity, being more open to new ideas, better problem solving, and ultimately greater life satisfaction through deeper relationships, purpose, connection.
Okay, now we need to address a more difficult aspect related to emotions, emotional abuse.
Yeah, this is a tough but really important one.
Our sources pose some stark questions like, have you ever felt totally helpless because friends suddenly stopped talking to you? Or watched someone get bullied and just knew how awful it must feel? Or tried talking to a group and been completely ignored?
If you answered yes to any of those, the sources suggest you've likely witnessed or even experienced emotional abuse.
And it's tricky because it's one of the hardest forms of abuse to recognize, right? It can be subtle.
Incredibly subtle or shockingly overt. Unlike a physical blow, emotional abuse uses feelings, manipulation, control as a weapon of choice. And honestly, it can be more harmful and damaging to the self-esteem and self-worth than physical violence.
That's a strong statement. More damaging.
Think about it. It hampers the self-esteem and confidence. It can lead to depression, anxiety, even suicidal thoughts. The sources say the scars take more time to heal than physical abuse because it attacks your very sense of self, your identity. It's this callous use of harmful behavior, often stemming from the abuser's own lack of control, designed purely to hurt.
What forms does it take? What should people look out for?
Well, there's verbal violence, yelling, insulting, swearing, constant lecturing, ordering you around, unpredictable anger, name-calling, public humiliation, blaming you for everything, making threats.
And nonverbal.
Just as damaging. Nonverbal stuff includes rejection, like deliberately ignoring you, pretending you're not there, isolation, cutting you off from others, bullying, obviously, and even things like digital spying, monitoring your messages or online activity.
Given how subtle it can be, maybe it's worth a moment of self-reflection for listeners. Are there signs someone might be more susceptible?
That's a good idea. Ask yourself, do you often put others' needs way ahead of your own? Are you always trying to please people? Do you sacrifice for others who never reciprocate? Do you swallow your feelings to avoid conflict? Feel guilty for standing up for yourself? Or maybe, deep down, feel like you deserve bad treatment or that you're not worthy of a healthy relationship?
If those questions hit home, what's the takeaway?
The absolute crucial takeaway is this. The most important point to deal with emotional abuse is breaking the silence and standing up for our own self. And step one is accepting it is not your fault. The sources are emphatic. The problem lies with them and not with you.
Okay, acceptance first. Then what?
Then action. Proactively disengage. Set firm personal boundaries about what you will and won't accept. Respond assertively, not aggressively.
Yeah.
Create distance from the abusive person or people.
Don't react immediately.
Right. Don't give them that instant reaction they might be looking for. Give yourself time to process, to heal. And this is vital. Seek help. Talk to trusted friends, family, teachers. Reach out to a counselor or therapist. Professional guidance is key.
And self-care must be part of it too.
Absolutely crucial. Simple things, going for a walk, eating nourishing food, listening to music you love, these help reduce anxiety symptoms and build resilience. They're essential for recovery.
Okay. So moving from surviving abuse to actively managing our own emotional world, this feels like a vital life skill.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Our sources use this great example of twins, Manan and Manasi. Manan gets easily anxious, frustrated. His mood totally depends on what happens around him.
Whereas
Manasi is calm, composed, much more in control of her feelings, and as a result, she's generally happier, more resilient.
And the difference boils down to
Individual's choice. Managing emotions is a skill you can learn, a choice you can make. It's about taking control. Our sources explain how our limbic system, that older emotional part of the brain, can sometimes hijack our thinking from our prefrontal cortex, the rational planning part.
the emotional hijack leads to regrettable actions.
Often, yeah. Impulsive behavior, poor decisions. So managing emotions isn't about suppressing them. It's about the ability to be open to feelings and modulate them in oneself and others so as to promote personal understanding and growth. It's about skillful navigation.
And a big one to navigate is anger.
Definitely. There's that powerful Buddha quote. Holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned.
Oof, hits home.
But anger itself isn't purely bad. It's defined as a primary natural emotion expressing dislike or displeasure. And, importantly, it's also a protective emotion that helps people defend themselves from physical and psychological threats. It can be that necessary alarm bell.
So how does it work in the brain? Why do we sometimes just snap?
It comes back to those brain parts. You've got your cerebral cortex, the thinking CEO, and then the limbic system, the emotional core,
Hmm.
Inside that is the amygdala, remember, the brain's emergency button, storing emotional memories.
Right, the threat detector.
Exactly. If something triggers a strong enough emotional charge, the amygdala can basically override the cortex. It hits the panic button before the thinking brain fully processes things. That leads to those impulsive reactions without much regard for the consequences.
Like yelling at someone who cuts you off in traffic before you even think.
Precisely. That bank line cutting example in the sources is perfect. Your amygdala just reacts. And here's a fascinating tidbit. On an average, it can take 20 minutes for a person who has experienced an angry state of arousal to calm, to shift back from the emotional brain to the thinking brain.
20 minutes. No wonder counting to 10 helps, but maybe not enough sometimes.
Right. It takes time for the physiological arousal to settle. So understanding your anger means seeing it expressed emotionally, cognitively, your thoughts, physically, body sensations, and behaviorally, what you do.
And it usually stems from three things.
Generally, yes. A trigger, the event, your individual personality and traits, and your particular interpretation of the trigger.
What kind of triggers are common?
They vary hugely, but common ones are verbal, feeling disrespected, criticized, insulted, lied to, blamed unfairly. Nonverbal, feeling ignored, neglected, dismissed through gestures or looks. And physical, actual harm or threats, or even just feeling powerless, incompetent, out of control.
So the key to managing it is?
Taking responsibility for your anger, that's empowering. It makes you the driver, not a puppet. It allows you to step back, evaluate rationally, and choose your response.
So if you know your triggers?
You can anticipate. You can see a situation developing and make a conscious choice not to let the amygdala hijack happen. Keep the response in the cortex instead of the limbic system. Use your thinking brain.
There was a handy acronym mentioned, ANGER.
Yeah, it's a good reminder.
Yeah.
Manage your annoyed, negative, grumpy, exasperated, rageful. Don't let your annoyance grow. Catch it early.
Okay, and then the practical steps, the 3 R's.
Right. The 3 R's of anger management. Relax, reassess, respond. First, relax.
Oh, deep breaths.
That helps. Also, engage in power booster activities, things that calm you, meditation, music, hobbies, helping others, anything that shifts your state. The goal is to get calm, get perspective, so you can respond, not just react.
Okay, relaxed. Then?
Reassess. Look at the situation again objectively. Try to develop some empathy or compassion. Maybe the other person is having a bad day. Maybe they've made a mistake. We all do. Decide what's acceptable, set boundaries, and try to let go of what you can't control.
Conduct a reality check.
Exactly. Take that 360-degree view. Step back from your initial judgment. Ask yourself those tough questions. How important is this really? Is my anger justified here? Why might they have done that? Can this situation even be changed? Is it worth my energy?
Makes sense. Relax, reassess, and final.
Respond. Now you use the energy of the anger constructively. Re-engage to resolve the conflict if appropriate. Maybe talk it over with someone trusted first.
And when talking to the other person, stay calm, polite, respectful, practice active listening, really hear them out first. Then speak assertively, state your feelings and needs clearly, but respectfully. And crucially, cage your rage. Don't let yourself get re-escalated. Moderate your reaction. Let them calm down too if needed. Set clear boundaries for the future.
It sounds like a skill, something you practice.
Absolutely. Anger management isn't a one-time fix. It's a skill built over time. But the payoff, according to our sources, is huge. Better social skills, better conflict resolution, and a greater ability to achieve your goals.
So, wrapping this all up, what's the core message for our listeners?
I think it boils down to this. Emotions are absolutely fundamental to being human. They influence everything, thoughts, behaviors, decisions, our whole life path. Understanding them and learning to manage them, developing emotional intelligence, isn't just nice to have, it's a crucial life skill.
Right. From those basic 6 feelings to Plutchik's intricate wheel, the way our bodies react physiologically, the dangers of emotional abuse, and learning practical ways to handle tough emotions like anger.
Yeah.
It all shapes who we are. It's about more than just feeling things. It's about understanding those feelings, knowing what triggers them, and choosing how to respond in a way that serves you and your relationships better. It truly shapes our destiny.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. Considering just how deeply emotions are woven into our survival, our well-being, our destiny, what small shift in how you approach your feelings today could potentially lead to the most significant positive change in your life tomorrow?